I'd like to introduce you to my good friend and one of our members.
Gabriel Christian, how are you, sir?
Hi, Christopher.
Chris, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
He's a retired Navy commander.
Wonderful. The guy who's the JAG commander with Norfolk is a good friend of mine, Captain Dave Wilson.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. I know you maybe not JAG, but that's all right.
We need those guys too.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Really, really, really nice to be here.
Good, good.
So this
And
is Major Richards.
Richards.
We're Army cadets back from the colonial period.
Yeah. Gentlemen, use the restroom. It's been a long ride.
We okay for, I'm okay for now.
Back for a couple of years to the
Okay.
cadets and kids center. They have a core cadets at the
Okay. As a matter of fact, there's plenty of talk about that because I heard the VMI cadet for Operation Shenandoah. I was in operation in 2000. I actually wrote to my dad, and he wrote me back, you know, because it was so inspiring, you know, the blanks, just I've never really heard Shenandoah. I'd heard it before, but I didn't put it all together. Right. But just to hear the thing Shenandoah, because I was a different, so I was an infantry, but I think he was a different at the corps. He was in the middle of the national. Wow. He was a governor. Beautiful, you know. So I like to put my Yes.
Just get out there trying to have a little fun. Do fun stuff. Oops, sorry.
On the servicemen. Yeah, so we sit down and
Sure.
chat.
Let's have a chat.
This is from Martinique. Martinique, Guadeloupe, Martinique are three very tight islands. And this is one of the best products of this kind of the world, right here. And this is from Martinique. We have our own rums, but frankly, I mean, I'm not a biased person. All rums don't match up with this. This is Virginia, France, Bermuda down there. Let's have Sweetwater, Virginia. And we'll make the first single grain whiskey in the British West Indies. That will be notable, be historical. But it will also be, as a Navy man, reconnecting historically that tradition of the islands in Virginia. That's the historical route. I was telling him that the folks who came from Jamestown, I'm not sure you knew this.
Yeah,
they came to Dominic, and then come up. So we can put a whole historical thing, so when they come to the shop on the island, it's not simply coming to get a product, it's coming to hold it. It's reconnecting the agriculture, it's reconnecting the people, then you get into what the heritage there.
Exactly.
Don't because of Garrison Island, you know, we have, so our system in Gators, and that's the result. But then the storm took place, so we dedicated the first one to relief efforts. But when we get the Sweetwater going, which I think we'll do in 6 months, I'm really confident if we put a business plan together and get it done, it would not just be doing the Sweetwater, but we would bring it to Virginia. Let's get Virginia straight out of this as the export of Virginia science and technology and enterprise. And we can trade going, we get a partnership with Virginia Tech and local university, and they have the exchanges.
You hear me, yes?
And University of Maryland Eastern Shore, I was just appointed to the Board of Visitors at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, which is a big ag school as well. So they'll be in the mix. So we're very excited. We're supposed to be judging at the Independence Fashion Show in New Jersey today, my wife and I. And I made a choice for the chemistry program. We've been there before, 10 years, not been there, done that. You know, this here is Primo de Primo, now the French. They have the Euro, I was telling Chris. They come across all the time. Well, they have their fine, you know, raw and all that stuff. Now people come for something different.
Well, I think that not only we're going to do the corn whiskey and the single malt, basically the same product line that we have here, we'll reproduce there. But I'd also like to do a Virginia Dominica rum and bring the rum to the U.S.
Yes,
and
sir.
make that part of our
Right now,
part of our brand.
I told Chris, I told this guy, I bought this to you because in the stores here, you couldn't get anything from America. So even if I wanted, I thought, let me bring you something that's closest, but it'd be nicer for me, like I brought you something that's authentically Dominican.
We'll draft this stuff out, but I have the Virginia Department of Tourism Incorporated. The lady that runs it is I don't want to say a very good friend, but she and I speak. We know each other, and Virginia she's really cool. And I think that we could probably package this whole. And there's the Virginia Department of Agriculture. I'm a member of. And I think if we put together a deal, we could probably get some grants.
Yes.
I don't know how all that stuff works, but
But they could guide us, they could guide us.
but I think we could get some serious traction out of tourism from both places, and some kind of a link of where we're taking Virginia agriculture processes to Dominica, and
Vice versa. You know, I was talking-
including the education.
Oh, absolutely. I was talking to Chris earlier, and I'm rethinking strategically. Our polarity is U.S. because that's, you know, an English-speaking country, and that's just the history. It's not a question of what I want or that's just what it is. And there are a lot of us who are concerned of the increasing dominance. You know, God bless the Chinese, I do whatever, but that's not our culture. You know what I mean?
No, it isn't.
And that's just the bottom line. That's how we look at it. And so we want to use this in a way to strengthen that relationship.
Yes.
And so Dominica could be the pilot, but once we prove,
I think it could be the hub.
yeah,
I think it's the anchor point for all the rest of the
and
Caribbean islands.
it's in the center of the Caribbean.
And
It just happened to be in the center of the Caribbean, between Venezuela and Puerto Rico.
Part of what
And Florida, I'm sorry.
I sent up the, I guess you got my kind of idea of a business plan.
Yeah.
I don't know what the laws are. I actually, and forgive me,
It's a
looked
British
up-
Commonwealth territory.
Well, I
but,
looked
yeah.
up Dominican,
Oh, yeah.
okay? So I started reading all their taxes and going,
Yeah.
man, this is gonna be a tough road to hoe.
Yeah.
But now this just changed my entire
Yeah.
thought, so I'll have to do my research again.
Yeah, yeah.
But if we could get favorable import-export taxes
Yeah.
in the country and really bring some serious ideas to the table,
Yeah.
I think it'd be really, really cool
Yeah.
to have a lab with a bunkhouse and let these people, I don't have all
Can I share
that.
something with you? Can I share something with you?
The buildings.
So, you know, we work like the Dickens, man. We don't get to do a lot. So I decided to take the kids to see Ben Franklin's house. Because Ben Franklin always impressed me as an inventor. You know, of all the revolutionaries, he was the one who was most science-oriented. Figured out, I need to go see Ben Franklin's house in Independence Square. So we go out there, my wife, kids, summer, right? So we went by the American Chemistry Foundation. Scott, I can tell you, I mean, I won't say it changed my life, but it's maybe the best museum. Right below is a chemistry museum in Philadelphia. And we went in and I saw it, maybe by far is one of the best put together museums. Science of chemistry from the outset, making glass, making liquor, making plastics, backlight, which related plastics. The next month I closed the office, I took the entire staff. We went to the van from the Enterprise, we went to see the chemistry museum now. We said, gee, I thought you'd go to a restaurant. We went to a restaurant afterwards, but you know what I mean? But I see this to say that when you talk about the lab, they speak my language.
Yeah,
Speak my language.
it would be great to bring in students from all around, because I don't have all the great ideas. I have a few, but.
No, you're doing well.
And people, and the more people and the more energy you get in there,
It's called academic tourism.
yes.
So we have the medical schools there already. This now will become a center of enterprise
in agriculture and the, what you call value adding process.
There's an article I just read in England, in the UK, a company in Scotland just received a $17 million or £1 million grant for taking the waste products of the distillation cycle and turning it into a bioethanol, bioethanol, something like that. I can look it back up, but it said the upside of the whole thing was producing whiskey only uses 10% of what's available in that mash.
So you can take that
And then you
mash.
take that mash,
Can it be used for food, for animals?
absolutely.
Okay.
You're doing it now.
Scott,
We're doing it right now.
Scott, listen, listen.
We're going to a zero waste program in my distillery right now, where even the wastewater from the still is going to the animals.
So we grew pork and we grew cattle and chickens, right? So my brother, my oldest brother, became Dornica's first local born veterinary surgeon, the chief veterinary officer. Studied in India and University of Florida, Gainesville. Fortunately, he died in my hands after my last year, George, and I got a pulmonary problem. But we grew up growing animals.
He went to Florida?
Yeah, Gainesville.
My
He
wife's
did
a
masters.
gator.
Oh. We flew down to see me in '88, the same day they shot down that, or the blew that thing at Gaddafi, '88. Lockerbie. I
Right.
never remember, we were all scared because we heard the news.
My son is a gator too.
I'll
He
send
got
you
his
the
engineering
I'll
degree.
send you the amazing, amazing. So we have some connectivity there. He got his DVM, summa cum laude. But he was rated his last legs, unfortunately. But he lives on in us because we grew animals. So the government's done an abattoir, right, Richards? But what have they not done? They've not done the fundamental prerequisite for the success of an abattoir, the feed issue. So we have coconut, and we can use that, but we don't have a feed meal. So when I knew, because I did some quick reading as well, that the mash could also be used for feed meal for hogs and stuff. So one of the things we're looking at, because he's the CEO of the Criminal Agricultural Network. I work with him, and that's who put this out. And we have this farmer out in Reedville who's a Virginia Tech grad, PJ Haney, he's on the White House Advisory Board. I just sent him out, let him know I'm coming here. I sent him your website, and he's interested. But the fact of the matter is we need to maybe work with somebody who's got a feed meal, and then we could work together to provide the feed for the
Oh, yeah.
abattoir. You know, as the, what you call the
Major,
derivative.
grow more corn.
No question, yeah, we need to approach it in a serious way, because as I said, we just, roast it and eat it, and folks are not.
Well, it's a great starch. It's a magical product to a degree because it stores well. It's not like a potato where if they get warm, they start to rot. I mean, the humidity or the moisture content of dried corn is critical. It needs to be around 12%. But I would think that we would go right from harvesting to production right away. And I have never thought about what we could do with the corn that's still wet, because we have to grind it up, and you can't grind up wet.
Yeah.
But what you can do is squeeze it
And make.
a paste that you make a mash out of, and boom. And they actually have, which I can buy, it's a corn flake. What they do is they take these rollers and they put the corn in under very high pressure, and the pressure's so high that it cooks the starch.
Oh, wow.
Right there. And so when we go to use it I've experimented with it, it didn't really work well for me because the way we distill, which we're changing, we distill by direct heat, and that's really a lower technology. I need to distill with steam, and we're looking at buying a steam generator. Did you bring your money? You did?
Not the cash. Yeah, we can work it out.
I might be buying a steam generator.
It's funny because
I got it. I got the money. This is it.
there's a guy that I speak with. He is a relative of ours. He's who I made my first $30 in the U.S. in 1983 with. His name is Elvin Benno. He's a steam boiler fabricator.
Cool.
And so I wanted to speak with him because he's returned to the island now. Cocky. And so you could speak,
Oh, yeah.
talk shop, you know, because I don't want to pretend I know.
Well, that's my trade.
There you go.
I was HVAC
Okay.
and refrigeration.
So you guys
for-
could talk, so he could maybe help save us some costs, because he's on the island, as well as in New York, for maybe 30 some odd years.
I have a talent of taking things that aren't used, that weren't designed to be used in such a way, and make them to be used the way we need them to be used.
I'll tell you what I saw on the picture.
I mean, most of everything I have is from eBay.
Okay, well, you see, when you're hands-on, you can do that. When you're not, you know what I mean? Because I saw a stainless steel or chrome steel, you call it Dana.
Right.
I saw that, I said, man, that's the kind of thing I just imagine tourists coming off the ship, because we have a lot of cruise tours. And they want to see something different. And what I'm thinking is, they come to our shop in Rosa, right? And they see the operation. And when they go back up to the mainland,
Right. They could buy it. But we can also do a 3-hour class
exactly,
off excursions off the ships
Exactly.
and generate some serious revenue.
Absolutely.
Where else could you go and learn how to make whiskey and rum in the world?
exactly.
On a cruise.
Exactly.
I mean, my goodness,
Exactly.
it's a no-brainer.
I mean, this is
The revenue streams out of that are phenomenal.
You know what the whole discussion is now with cruise tourism? The ships they're building right now, Chris, they've got everything on it, pretty much. So what's happening with the islands is, you just come, take a few pictures. I mean, you know, the same little keychain, you know, from one island to the next is the same little keychain, right? So what you want to do is to give a unique offering to the passenger who's in the back, disembark, I'm sorry. So he or she can find something unique.
It's an
that is not-
experience.
Exactly, that's right.
They need an experience, whether it's recreational, we can do it based on science, we can do, I have kids that come in here and I say, you guys want to see the still? And they go, well, we're too young. I said, this is a science project. Let's go back. We're going to talk about the biology, and then we're going to talk about the science.
You must have been in the car with
Were you in the car with
us.
us?
That was
No,
our
this-
conversation.
Wow,
This is how I,
Your exact verbiage is what we were talking about.
this is how I roll. And
I told you, I
it
told
gives
We're
them,
gonna make it, man.
I told
yeah.
you.
I'm so impressed, because, you know, there's no selling to do here. You know, you lead a real fallout, man, because
It's
this is
turnkey.
exactly the thing. They're saying now, Scott, how do we monetize the tourist trade? Because what they're having now is a waste problem. Folks just come and leave waste behind because there's nothing that's unique. You know, we are the nice mountains, that's true, okay. But then, you know, there's only so much you can do.
but
But then you can
What-
teach it,
what
then
I-
you can sell.
we can teach it, we can sell it.
Yeah.
Then we need to get them to stay and have a meal, and we need to sell them some cocktails.
Exactly.
Okay, so they come in, they learn it, they now have a passion. We've gone from the consumer, today's consumer is different than yesterday's. It's just not on the shelf.
Yeah.
Okay, I see this one, I see that one, I see that one.
What's the history? What's the story?
Well, yeah, why do I want to buy this? Well, when they come, they then become an emotional attachment to the product.
Yes.
They become a fan.
Yes.
And when you have that emotion that's attached, you get loyalty.
Yes.
And then you reward that loyalty by giving them good products.
Yes.
And they can say, hey, I met the guy. We went and made this. We did this. And I'm going to buy that because it's good.
Yes.
And I was involved.
Yeah.
And I would let our class people sign a bottle. And they would sign the bottle, and I'd say, your bottle is going to go out into the Virginia marketplace, and someday you might see that bottle on the shelf with your name on it. I actually found one of my bottles that I signed, and I actually thought of going like on Facebook and say $100 reward for the one signed bottle that I put out there or something.
Amazing.
You
That
know?
was-
That's something.
Start.
That's something.
But then they take
Willy Wonka's
away,
ticket.
what's that?
Willy Wonka's ticket.
Yeah, Willy Wonka's ticket.
Yes.
And they take away, the customer has to take away more than they bargained for. We gotta exceed their expectations by showing them a good time, by giving them something that they'll keep forever, whether it's in their heart or their head, or I hope both. They walk away with it with a greater appreciation for what I do.
And you come back on.
Unfortunately, I'm here. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
No way, that's gonna change. So.
Oh, yeah.
But if we
Because what I'm
We
thinking
know.
is, once this gets going, we get in all the magazines, because you know what Patton said? You need to get there with the fastest. You need to get to the fastest or the mostest. And it's being in that space where there's nobody else doing what we do. We will show you, before we leave, the video we did at the location. Francis and I got hit by the storm a little bit, but it's just nothing there. You know, and this is a 200-year-old distillery. You know, it's always one continually operated by a water brewer, but he didn't have any of this. And we said, wow. So this is the guy we actually think of maybe even working with if he's interested. But I mean, we'll go ahead anyway, because I think we have to lead by example. It's not enough to talk the issue to death. I'm a doer. I'm not
Me too.
Yeah, I believe in getting things done. Someone once said, better small things done than great things planned. You know, so you get, caught in paralysis of analysis. I'm not into that. Let's get something built. We'll price it out. We'll get the parts. We'll build it. We'll have an opening. And we've got one of the best chefs. He's been to down with me twice. Joey Shinsky from Massachusetts.
Yeah, and on this location that you have now, is there a restaurant there or
It's
a bar?
no, and it could all be done. Right now, what we're doing, we're just planting little vegetables and have a local cousin of mine just kind of sitting it. It's right next to the river, and so we.
That's in your mindset too,
exactly,
right? Okay.
exactly. We want to do something there as well.
You know, and we have these very, very lovely girls who are smart. They all know how to distill that have worked for me for the last couple of years. And I said, we'll take you down to Dominica and you can be the moonshine girl and this will be your shift. So in the morning you can go to the beach and in the afternoon you come back and you meet the customers and you talk to them and we'll have the moonshine girl, but we'll do Dominica moonshine girl.
Yes, yes.
And I think it would be really,
Oh,
really
absolutely.
flipping cool.
It's
And don't forget the coconuts.
When we're coming down here, he said, sweet water and a coconut.
That's
So
right.
he talked about the sweet water coconut festival.
Watermelon.
Coconut with straw,
Oh, watermelon, what? Watermelon bling?
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, we make
watermelon bling.
too. We make watermelon too.
That's it.
No. It's all about merchandising and
Yeah.
but with a difference, And what I like, Scott, about what you just said this afternoon is by the way, that's the kind of bugle I had in my man right there.
Yeah,
That's
bugle.
what I had.
That was my brother's. That was my brother's bugle. It's just it was given to him.
Yeah.
Just as a,
I remember.
it works, but
Yeah. But it's the whole education aspect of it, because that's all brand, it's been all brand, and I think it'll fit in nicely. Yeah. So it hits the issue of education, it hits the issue of agriculture, it hits the issue of animal feed as a derivative, it hits the issue of how do you monetize, or better monetize the tourism, cruise tourism, which is right now, people make money of the taxi cab drivers, that's about it, maybe restaurateurs. And it would allow for residual income, because as Scott said, you have the restaurant, you have the drink, they have the class, we have the maybe flat screen showing the process, and you definitely have to have a meal, because if it's going to be 2-3 hours, we got to have some food there.
Yeah.
oh yeah, and I think a small.
So when I come back here next month, I'll bring Joe with me. In fact, I'll maybe introduce you to him now. Joseph Yushenko, in fact, if he's not working, he went to the CIA at Cornell, so he's a classically trained. I think we ought to do one here and one on Dominica, because MGM is opening a shop not next to my house at the National Harbor, and what I told Charles is the same vision we have for Dominica. I can see it working in Prince George's County. There's nothing like this in Prince George's County. Now I'm on the Tuskegee Airmen as well, so I think of the Tuskegee Flyer. DC Metro, Virginia is a place where there's a lot of interest in military heritage. I'm right next to the Andrews Air Force Base, or Joint Base Andrews, what they call it now, and there's a lot of interest in that. But the whole idea of having a shop with a Dana, I like to use that, a Dana Chrome, because it's just so, it's so scientific. And it looks like,
It's
it's like a
forward
little,
thinking too, but yeah, all our stills are should be on display.
Yeah,
and they would
because-
be either behind glass
Yeah.
or a screen. We
So
have
what
to.
I told him, right next to my office is Duclaw. You familiar with Duclaw? It's part of the new brew house movement. Small batch.
Claws.
Duclaw. It's
D.
they're like a beer house. So what
Okay.
they've got the little restaurant, right? And then behind the glass, whatever, you've got several fermenting
Yeah, steels.
steels. They make their beer, and they serve the beer right there.
Yeah. You can,
So
Like the micro
something like that.
Yes.
That's right.
only thing in Maryland, they don't have any laws that allow us to do that yet.
Okay.
But you can in DC. You can do a bar, restaurant, and have a distillery pub, or they call it a distillery tavern, where you can produce your product and sell it by the bottle, sell it by the drink, or distribute it in DC. And we've been looking at trying to buy some properties in DC. Unfortunately, I just don't have the type of money that it would take to launch
Well,
that.
we could look into that, I mean, and we have someone who used to be the chair of the Maryland General Assembly, who's worked with the ran for Attorney General, Aisha Braidwood, to look into whether there can be any changes. Because we're looking at this as a tourism thing. We're not
Right,
trying
and
to-
they are changing. There's states all across the country that are really looking at this whole craft thing.
Yeah.
See, beer and wine have it made. They don't have nearly the restrictions that alcohol does. And there's no difference other than the concentration.
Yes.
They don't ask you if you drank too much wine when you get a DUI. They don't
Oh,
know if you
it's
had
just the
too
point
much
is right,
beer.
that's it.
The point is still the same.
Yeah.
And there's been no scientific evidence that consumption of alcohol, of spirits, has anything other, there is no relationship, because alcohol is viewed by many prohibitionists before and after as being the evil,
Yes.
where beer is okay. And the reality is that there is no difference.
It's alcohol, it's alcohol. It's, as you say, the content, the percentage content. Let me ask a question, because we have a lot of fruit that's spoiled right now, because we have not done as good a job as we should in the value adding, right? So, hence the chocolate bar's first step. Now we're gonna do sweet water. We have a lot of mango that goes to waste. And what we've been thinking about is, have you ever had Angry Orchard?
Yes.
Okay. Angry Orchard, I like, it's great. And we were thinking how we could do like an Angry Orchard, but we don't grow apples, which is what the
Do
basis.
mangoes. No, we could also make a mango, a brandy. Now, I don't know how to make beer real well, but it's nothing I can't learn. But mango,
We just
We
need
I have-
don't, we don't need the beer, we got, I mean, we can.
I'll take brandy, you know, it doesn't have to be as
moonshine.
whatever gets us to end game in the
Yeah.
most efficient way. And we can do the beer later. The thing about it is the mangoes are being wasted now, and it would just be great where we could do that because it would be a tie-in to a local product.
and they don't have to be perfect. You can take any mango that is just before it rots, it'll
Yes.
work.
Yes.
Man, we make a mango moonshine. I tell you, look, the watermelon, Adrian came up with.
Yeah.
Watermelon bling, right? They love it. It's selling in, when I did the tasting, it's part of their menu right now, drink menu. Watermelon bling is there, and the Warhorn Hurricane is there. So the moonshine, mango
Well, to
is
give you an idea-
Sugars, really.
is
Yeah.
actually doing
It's a
it.
sugar, right?
Yeah,
That would be fermented.
yeah. We could actually, do you have, I would assume you've got a lot of cane?
We have cane. We don't have a lot as we used to because we moved to bananas. But we have some left. But we have a lot of sugar and we have a lot of mango, and mango is high in sugar content. So I'm not sure whether we would need anything else to add to it. I'm not sure.
Would they, well, if we got a market for more sugar cane for the rum, it would make sense to plant some more.
Yeah.
So that's a doable thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have explored several different business options. We can take the same business model that I have right here and do more of it here in the US, where one of the biggest problems with distilling in the more metropolitan areas is the waste. You've got to get rid of the spent grains and the water. And the alcohol storage is a real issue because the fire departments get all wound up over fire codes and all of that. Whereas we would produce these products either finished or unfinished and transport them to the locales that we have these business models in. And we have a still there, and we could finish the distillation run and bottle the product and also store some limited amounts of whiskey. But the majority of it would come from our plant in Virginia.
Okay.
And because we have no waste issues, it would certainly reduce the costs of getting in.
Okay.
It would require a federal permit, which is not a big deal to get,
Okay.
but it saves you about $100,000 in equipment acquisition.
Okay.
And it's something that I've been passionate about trying to develop.
So you'd make the product at a central location and then shift.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it can be shifted in bulk, it can be shifted by the bottle, it can be shifted, shipped either partially finished.
How much do you think it would cost us to do a steel on Dominic? We can talk about the, you know, we got the facility up ready just with.
Well-
Because I saw a little house on YouTube, not YouTube, the internet, with your steel operation.
To do it right, a still, depends on the size, that's the most critical factor. A 2,000 liter still is 2,000 is a 500 gallon, pardon me, still. You can make a lot of liquor with 500 gallons.
Yeah, I'd rather start small than start, you know, I mean, just to sit, we can get started, we can always ramp up.
Yes, but I'm sorry, your greatest challenge is the still capacity, because once you have that, you don't get any more of it. The things that we can expand on are tanks and processing equipment. A good still is going to cost in the $50,000 range. There's two different types of still systems. You have a column like what I have back here, you know, with all the little plates, and that's for making high proof spirits. And then you have the still like Miss Dana. This is very inexpensive. This is a Scotch head. This is how they've been distilling alcohol and how I do it here in Marion.
That's the mash.
That's the one we want to
Yeah,
have
this is-
behind the
This is the
glass
tank.
bucket.
This is a column still. You have these little plates in here, and you make a high proof liquor. You would need the taller the column, the more pure you can make the alcohol. Personally, I have one of these in my back room and it works great, but I'm a traditionalist and I would prefer to go with a traditional pot still.
And that's the deal.
Yeah. Miss Dana is a pot still. Now, pot still, the nice thing about that is it looks more traditional in terms of Scottish whiskeys. And what happens is you get a more flavorful distillate out of this, and that's what we're making. We're making flavor. We're not making vodka. If you said, look, I want to build a vodka plant, then we would have to go with a much more expensive, much more complicated system. Go with a simple whiskey plant with steam injection or a steam jacket. You know, we're looking at the $35,000 to $50,000 range, depending on the size.
Okay.
What is the best source of energy there?
So we've got some hydro, but they've been using an increased amount of diesel because there's this project where Venezuela and Chavez gave this discounted diesel to the islands. But we're very renewable energy oriented. You know, I've got solar on the place down there. We did it with Cornell University solar team, came second in the solar decathlon, and they designed and we built. We have a little river next door, and we thought that maybe hooking that up, so we use hydro, because that's much more affordable. Because in Maryland, for instance, on the factory, we have maybe about 13 cents per kilowatt hour. Because of the use of diesel on the island, we're close to 40 US cents per kilowatt hour. We don't want to, cut in the profit margin by having to, so if we can, because of your background in engineering, if we can rig up a small wheel right there on the river and propel what we're doing, that would be ideal,
Even-
because it'd be,
yeah.
it'd be a whole nature island sort of concept.
Right. Now, in terms of renewable resources, what about, do you have wood?
We have wood,
Do
it's
you
a
have-
thickly wooded island, so we can get wood.
But without stripping it, is there a wood that, a fibrous structure that we could burn to create steam?
So let me tell you, what we have a lot of fibrous, incinerable material from. The gentleman I spoke to yesterday morning is the manager of the biggest estate on the island. They've got thousands of coconut trees. When they dry the coconut to export, the husk is harvestable for
Perfect, that's exactly what I was thinking.
the husk and the shell. In fact, the shell, they used to use the shell in bakeries, right, Richards?
They
So,
also use it to make activated charcoal.
There you go. And so we would not be talking about cutting down trees, but using, because the coconut tree produces.
Every year, yeah.
Every year, yeah, so.
Okay, so we could have, we would have access to a relatively cheap source of energy.
You use coconut husk for the fire.
Use coconut husk for the fire, reburn the gases so we don't have a lot of pollution. So your particulates that come off the fire are very, very low. It's kind of like a gasifier furnace. That's great, because we need a lot of steam. And then the electricity side of it, we would put in some solar, probably, I would think 20 kW plus the river of solar panels. How about wind?
We're in a valley, so we can maybe get wind on the hill above, but then we got to sling down the wires. Well, we have a good friend who's a solar sort of.
We need electricity for refrigeration, unless we go to an ammonia system.
We can get the solar. I mean, you know, we can do the solar. We can look at the hydro. I'll introduce you to my good friend
Well,
John.
anything that can generate even a little power over a long period of time is as good to us as a lot of power over a short period of time.
Yeah.
You know, if you're constantly trickling energy into those batteries day and night, recharging them, they recharge all night. Solar, we only have the daylight window
Yes.
when the sun is shining, but hydro never stops.
Right.
And there are some ways that we can do some hydroelectric energy that have zero impact to the flow of the water and everything that surrounds it.
His name is John Weber. John Weber is in Boise, Idaho. He came to the island on my invitation. He's an ex-Marine, good, solid guy, and he was a good one in America, but turning a Ford Festiva into a totally soul car. And that's his claim to fame. And you know, he's like a, you know, just do it yourself, you know, survivalist kind of guy. And he stayed with us because I have a little solar car company. In fact, I just donated my solar car to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. So they could use it as a technology platform for technology education. So he can maybe help us with that because he's, you know, he's like you, he does things with his hands. And so the river is just there, I'm saying, a combination of solar and hydro.
Yeah, that'd
You
be
know,
really
micro hydro. You know, because again, what that does is it shows other folks on the island how we can do it.
exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's again an education process. Because a lot of times, you know, people get tunnel vision and get caught in the bureaucracy and paralysis and analysis and don't get it done. That's why we did this. You know, my mom was 86, you know, and her father was a plantation manager at the Cocoa Center when they used to do cocoa, and she's born in 29. And she went to the mall with some senior citizens and said, hey, you know, there's a solar decathlon down there. Why don't you come down? I run down there, met the guys. Next year, they were in Dominica. 2 years later, we had the place up. That's kind of, you know, I mean, it's not been easy. You know, we've lost money and all that stuff because we've not always had all the cards together because I'm a traveler, that's what I do. But I believe it's important to at least begin the process because at least if you've done something, you have something to talk about and you can inspire confidence.
Doing nothing gets you nothing.
Thank you. I couldn't say that. So.
And even when I go and do a tasting at an ABC, you know, if two people just try my product, I make 2 small steps forward. Whether or not they buy anything, I don't know. Some days I know because they walk out with a bottle, but for the most part, it's an expensive proposition for me to travel and do that, but it's one way to grow the product. Fortunately, I'm blessed having people like Charles and his family and all my other partners and our partners here, our partners in California and Florida, you know, all are great people that want to see this company succeed.
Absolutely.
So we do have a whole battalion of sorts.
I mean, you know,
boots on the ground.
in a way, you're kind of a Thomas Edison of product.
I don't know about that, but
Well, yeah, because you're nuancing something.
maybe I'm Tom Sawyer. I get everybody involved. I get it. Here, just paint right. Yeah, it's true. We let people come work for us.
And I like the fact that we've been to Dominica before. Because, you know, when we started talking to Chris, when we started talking to Scott, I asked him if he'd been. He said, yeah, I've been to Dominica, you know, guys right on the left.
Yeah. And, oh God, I think we went scuba diving or we're
Yeah,
going
it's,
to.
it's one of the big scuba diving
We
joints.
wanted to, but I believe the weather was really bad that day and they called off the excursion.
Okay.
But my wife would know better. We used to travel down there a lot, when I was a contractor and had money. Okay,
We're gonna get there again.
so,
Those, yeah.
so you're envisioning a unit in Maryland?
That's right, I'm thinking a unit in Maryland, but I'd like to see if we can get a unit in Dominica within the year. I mean, I said 6 months, but, you know, within the year, because the thing about it is, the storm hit, Chris, and people are like, oh man, we need to bring something in that's gonna put people out.
Dominica would be a lot faster than trying to do it here in the
Yeah,
US.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know what your regulations are down there, but
Well,
would-
I just got a note from Scarrett,
I would think it would be,
I just got a note from Mancomo, the lady who passed away. That was his, so he wants my help as we're driving. So this is the top lawyer down there. I'll write him tonight. In fact, I want them to call me and let us know quickly what we can do.
okay. And if you get any of the laws, or I'll look them up,
Yeah.
of what their taxes are and how we can price this product.
Well, this is coming in as a foreign investment, so we can get pioneer status and tax holidays. That's why it's important, because we're not coming as a Dominican company, you're coming as a US company. It's Dominican to invest, science and technology, so.
Oh, okay, so we'll get some tax breaks
That's
and
right.
some help from there because
That's
we're
right.
investing in the local culture
That's right.
and the community.
We're trying to grow income, we're trying to create jobs.
Now,
We're trying to build
I tell you
agriculture.
what, you may or may not be aware of the Eb5 program.
Tell me about that.
It's E, Edward Bravo 5. And it is, this would be perfect. The EB5 program is something that President Clinton developed years ago. And what it does is, as the United States has been outsourcing its production, its capital to India and China and Japan, wherever, this program was a way developed to help reverse the stem of flow out back to flowing something in. And for $500,000, a non-US citizen would invest, Chinese guy, for instance,
Yeah.
$500,000 in a company.
That's right, I know about the EB5 program. I didn't get residency.
Right,
And
he
they
gets
did
a
that?
green card
Yes.
for him and his family.
That's right.
He doesn't get the card until he gives us the money.
That's right.
And there's an attorney in Washington DC, and his name is Ian Poulter. And my business plan writer is on her way down from New York with her partner to talk to me this weekend about this very stuff.
I have no problem in working that this way.
And that would give us, and it would be for jobs.
You could invest, that's right.
We'd have to create jobs in America,
Yeah, well, the
which we
equipment-
could do right here.
The equipment, that's right, the equipment and all of the other stuff. And then we just put it in a container and ship it to Dominica. When we get Dominica done, we could cookie cutter up and down the islands. Because what I hope is that we'll have a constellation, Cuba opens up, we'll be there too, all the way down to Trinidad. That's the idea, but we start with Dominica as a hub, but you create the little factory here, make all the doodads
Right.
that go into it, you know, all the dinners. So folks who need to be fabrication and everything else, we can do that with.
Well, we could, opening up a manufacturing plant is big, gonna take a lot more than 500,000.
I know, but I'm just being, you know,
Yeah.
futuristic. I'm just saying for the initial thing, we would.
But as a joint venture, we could create a marketing company or a management company that would take these funds, and if we invested them here in Virginia at this facility,
Yes.
create the jobs right here, we've met the letter of the law.
Yes.
We create the product and all the stuff that we need to get to Dominica
Yes.
and bring it back.
Yes.
I think it would provide vital capital for us to continue.
Doing work in Dominica.
Right.
Create a capital stream. The seed money.
Yes.
Okay. I'm with you.
And then when we get there, as a U.S. company, I wonder if they wouldn't allow the jobs there that we created unless they were free. It's for U.S. citizens. But I'd say that it would take to launch this thing and get it up and running and have some cash in reserves. I know what it's cost me to do this business, and I think that anything short of $300,000 to $400,000, not all at once, would be
Tight.
would ensure great success.
Well, that's even considering over there where
Labor costs are less.
labor costs is less.
Because I was hoping that we could get in for 100,000 with a small scale, a bar, the signage, and then grow from there.
Well, you could. I mean, I started this company with $55,000.
Here we go. Because the thing I'm thinking
But
is,
it also is blown up in my face.
well, I know, and the advantage of your being part of it is that you can see all of the, you've been there, done that sort of thing, so you can see those shortcomings or shortfalls before
Yeah, I mean, the
they
money that you put forward that's sitting in there now, I mean, the knowledge that you have now is worth all that. I mean, it's worth a lot of the.
True. You
Yeah.
probably spent 200,000 figuring this out.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
So we can leapfrog, and it's like Edison tried,
Yeah.
I think the whole saying is 999 times before he did the final filament on the 1,000th try. That's a lot of tries, he would have given up at the 900th try. So having done that, you've got some intelligence in the matter that can allow us to avoid, buying junk, you know what to do because you've done it, and you're doing it.
I mean, Scott's at the point now, I mean, recently coming in and taking a look at all this, is that he's at the point now where, talking about the shipping of the product is maximizing the economies of scale that he has here today.
Yeah.
With the physical plant that he has now. And so I think that's what you were trying to get to with the shipping of the product earlier.
Right.
Getting stuff, leapfrog there, and then taking a look at production stuff.
And when you're talking about, just thinking, when you're talking about the corn, I was just thinking, when we shop the corn, the corn cobs, we can throw them in the gas for heat as well.
Absolutely.
I was just thinking,
Everything.
Well, in order to speed up this transition, what we could do is to echo Chris, until your farmers get enough corn in the ground, we will produce the product either complete or partially complete. Partially is probably smarter in some respects, and just do the final distillation in Dominica right there, and bring some we just take we get a case, a container with 10,000 gallon shipping container, liquid container, or 5,000 gallons, whatever would work.
Yes.
And get it there. The problem is, out of 5,000 gallons and we have a 10% wash, we're sending down 90% water that's gonna get thrown away. Now, does that make sense? I don't know,
No.
probably not.
Maybe not. Just like when the disaster hit, some people started getting water up here. And Dominica is a water island. We said to people, no. Shipping water to Dominica, like
Yeah.
shipping coals to Newcastle.
Yeah.
Because what they really needed is water that's filthy, is, what do you call that, a filter, and just get a filter down, and then just filter the water down there. So we have to find another way to not carry junk, and not junk, but
Pay for stuff that you don't.
Right.
pay for something.
That's a lot of weight.
So, initially, we could just send down finished spirits, which is
Or,
in bulk.
Scott, PJ, what if we don't send on the corn?
We could do that.
Because that corn is all gonna be used, right?
It would solve your feed problem
That's
by importing the corn.
So while we grow the corn,
We
the
import,
first batches could be all the corn, supplemented by whatever we have. But we could go on a project to get more corn grown, so we have more.
and barley.
And barley. I don't know whether barley can grow in Dominica. I'm not sure. If it's a temperate product.
How about, do they grow wheat?
No, Dominica is a semi-tropical, so it's like Florida. I don't think.
Well, then we would have to import our barley, and we grow our barley ourselves.
Yeah.
So we could import the
Yeah, we can
Virginia.
always have a degree of imported stuff, I mean, the whole thing with this is like to create enough local content. But I mean, we're never gonna have 100% because we're always gonna have to do the bottles, because we don't have a bottle making plant. So the things we're always gonna have to import.
Right.
So we may have to import the barley.
It just goes to the spirit of the joint venture.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
It's tying everything. Yeah.
tying everything together.
Okay, well, that would work. Shipping grain is not a big deal, been doing it for thousands of years.
As a matter of fact, I'll tell you what I wanted to do with Haney. We used to like, cornmeal growing up as kids with cinnamon sticks and nutmeg. It's a great meal. It's like cream of wheat.
Yeah.
And one of the ideas we had for the cream of nectar was to have small meals where we can bring in corn in bulk and then process it there. And so you put some labor in, you put some value add in, you put some local spice in, so you create something. So you can do that in tandem, you know?
Yeah, it's the same mill that we would use
Exactly.
to grind the corn as we would make flour and
Because when you
anything
put
else.
to make the mash, you gotta grind it. So, there you go.
Grind it or crush it.
How do you grind it? What do you use?
We use a hammer mill.
Okay.
Electricity back there?
Yeah,
It's electric?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We
Pulls a lot of juice?
no, it's 220 volt,
Okay.
but you can also grind it with a water wheel.
Okay.
You can grind it 1,000 different ways.
Right.
Um,
And that's the same, I just say, product you can use to make cornmeal.
exactly. Yeah, some of it you make bread out of, some of it we make whiskey out of. And it all, what's left over goes back to the animals. In fact, you would have
That's wonderful.
with
That's
pigs and cattle, you would send, we would send 100% of the waste, including the water and the still, back to the animals. You would have a zero zero environmental impact in terms of the waste. And that's really cool. Because to say that you recycle 100%, nothing goes to waste. Even when we make our Warhorn whiskey, we even sell the wood that we charred up, infused with honey
That's what I did.
for the
Yeah, I did some of
barbecues.
those.
Oh, wow.
I showed you that.
And
It was
then-
in the bottle, the little honeycombs.
Yes, yes.
And then the product that comes off the distillation cycle first, we use as fuel. We sell it to the backpackers for their stoves, and we also burn it here in the store to help keep the store warm in the wintertime.
Wow.
But that ethanol, or that biofuel, can be used to heat the water. Now, it's not gonna make enough to heat the water, but that can be injected into that furnace via a nozzle with what's burning in there and just add more BTUs to it.
Okay.
And it also is paint thinner, it's paint thinner and all that other stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But we don't waste anything.
That's ethyl alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the same as Robin, or is that isopropyl?
Well, isopropyl is the same alcohol base, but it's been denatured. It's got an additive to it, so you can't drink it.
Okay. Because that's the rubbing alcohol,
Yeah.
medical uses.
Right.
Is that a byproduct of the process?
Yes.
Because we're thinking we make, because we don't make any of that. What do we do?
We can take some, I don't know what kind of still it would require, but we could get a chemist to tell us how to do it,
Yeah,
do it correctly. And you could make antiseptics and stuff like that.
yeah.
Guess what, Gabriel? Beer rum.
Beer rum. That's what he used to do. Beer rum. He used to make beer rum.
Bear rum?
Yeah, what it is, it's alcohol distilled from a leaf. Okay, I was doing actually patchouli. Patchouli is an extract from a plant you distill. It goes into the high-end perfumery industry. But in Dominica, bay rum is a bay oil is a very important indigenous sort of a product. And now it's actually critical because after tropical South America, one of the largest distilleries got damaged big time. But the ability to use the alcohol into the bay industry is a whole new world by itself.
Yeah,
a whole
because
new.
you use it to distill the oils out of the plant.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying that the end product, because like Gabriel is talking about using the rubbing alcohol and all that. The bay has some other healing properties that is traditional, so it'll be a whole new thinking of
People rubbing to the
yeah. It's a whole new additional uses. Yeah, it'll
They
be
use it for shaving.
Yeah.
Aftershave.
yep. It'll be a whole new. Yep.
Byproducts, you know.
Yep.
Is that where the fragrance bay rum?
Yes, that's it. That's
Bay
it.
rum, okay.
Yeah,
Exactly.
We're the big producers of that beer rum that you see in the high-end store like Brooks Brothers and stuff.
Exactly. So you will have you have a lot of buy-in
A lot of buy-in.
outside of that from the other people who in other words, you have more support for the project from the essential oils cooperative. There's a big essential oils cooperative on the island. They would love it.
Make more friends.
Yep, exactly.
Indeed.
We have more jobs.
exactly.
Because, I mean, I think my grandfather may have been arrested for moonshine. So, it's not an unknown, we come in from a different perspective, a more sophisticated perspective.
Yeah.
The education piece, the tourism piece, because there are steals in the heels and normally, but, it's kind of Robinson Crusoe type of stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody goes there, it's surreptitious, it's outside the revenue stream. It's not,
Do they tax alcohol in Dominica?
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, yes, yeah, sure.
I'm sure they do. In fact, what I'll do is, let me see if I can call, write the guy right now, and give us a call, and maybe I'll put you on the phone, ask him questions right now. Let me just,
Same thing that he was thinking before. We already have a product that's known, okay? So to sell that product, right, to bring that product over, Virginia Sweetwater, gold medal winners, world-class whiskey.
it's going to be in the center.
Yeah, already there. Now, what was born from that, because you already have the platform there, would be
The Rumsky, because I like it.
Rumsky or whatever they have.
And then the mango.
Versus starting
Mango.
up brand new and saying this is Rumsky or whatever.
No. So to
Yeah.
understand, we want to retain at all times
Yeah.
the mothership.
Right,
Virginia Sweetwater is the
Right,
mothership.
right.
Scott Shoemaker and Partners.
right.
That's at the center with all the accolades that this won.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get into a market where we're trying to get receptivity and buy-in.
Yeah.
Rumsky right here, blended with the local guy.
Yeah,
And he's not doing half of what you're doing, okay? Because we will show you the document you've been on this place. And you were like, you just stop.
yeah.
And then we have the mango blend right there.
Mm.
But this is a 70 piece right here.
Yeah.
Sweetwater, Virginia is a
Yeah.
70 piece. We don't want to get away from that because we want to maintain the brand loyalty. You know what I mean? We want to maintain the brand loyalty. We don't lose it.
Yeah,
In fact, what the brand loyalty does is it gives credibility.
yeah,
This is not something that just pops
Yeah.
off, you know what I mean?
yeah, right, okay,
It gives credibility,
America-
it gives a link to
America's-
Virginia.
right.
And
America's Finest Corn Whiskey sets up production facilities
I
in
saw-
cooperation with
Partnership.
our partnership with
Yeah.
Dominica.
Yeah.
I saw the ad, I saw the news, I saw it in GQ, I saw it in Cosmo, I saw it in Rolling Stone, I saw it. I can't tell you when I've read of anything like that in my 54 years.
Amen.
You know, so you gotta envision it, I've seen it, I've seen you in interview.
Yeah.
Well, can John's plane fly down there?
No,
No,
Is it a twin engine?
yeah, he can't.
it's
Yeah.
a single. He'd go to the DR.
Yeah,
I mean, he could literally be island hopping,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a straight flight.
I was talking to him about it, he said he couldn't.
How do you get to Dominica, by the way?
Dollars, BWI, National to Port.
Phase one would be
Buffalo.
shipping product. Bulk. 2. And you bottle it there. And label. Phase 2. Okay, in phase 1, we'll also develop 1 or 2 unique spirits.
Here. You want to develop here?
No, there.
Develop
Well,
there.
they'll get me some of the sauce and the juices and stuff, and we'll come up with a recipe
Okay.
that works. You know, we take the corn whiskey and the mango, it might taste terrible. So we may need to clean up the corn whiskey a little bit, and come up with something that
Scott
works.
from his Christian.
What would
I
that,
mean, Chris,
that
Miss
works.
Christian. Scott,
Yes,
Miss Christian.
hi.
hi. Would it be,
Just so we made it.
would it be in that product though? The ma-
From the instant Caribbean history, this is the first international bar. Let me make sure I have, I have your.
It's pretty good, it's very tasty, it's good chocolate.
That's international quality, 70%.
Chris, let
Pure Dominican cocoa,
me show you this.
harvested in Dominica, brought up here and processed.
Are you selling this here in the States?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. This is the.
Where
this
can
is-
you get this?
Gettysburg. Well, I'm gonna show you the website right now.
giant flask.
We bought it in this.
People we could get for sure, 100
all
bottles.
the time. And,
People gonna buy it
I just want us
just to take back.
be a little closer, not a little
Um,
close, but just to always confide in each
It's
other.
gonna be in Virginia?
It's gonna be in Maryland,
Put my 2 cents in,
DC.
you know? To help the cause.
It's gonna be in DC on the 20th.
Yeah, 20th.
It's very
In
hard to
DC?
Yeah, in DC. At the well, we'll send you the address. It's Irie Bar in. Well,
Yeah.
he would know. He would know where it
This is
is.
supposed to be some big deal, so I'm trying to work out the deal where we can have some there so they can start selling while I'm doing the tasting, but,
It's
yeah, well, you could be
the
there.
same thing.
Yeah,
You
well,
know,
we'll,
you wanna